Hello, A-Framers. Well, today I'm excited to announce that we now have intake forms. I know a lot of you have been wanting this feature for a while. Well, it is now here. We have implemented our intake forms feature through a program called Zapier. Now, if you're not familiar with Zapier, Zapier is an internet application that allows you to connect with thousands of other internet applications. So if you use Cognito Forms or Jotforms or Google Forms or basically anything that can connect to Zapier, you pretty much can connect that to AFrame using their interface. I will also add that you can add contacts as well. So if you have like a new agent intake form or you just have a CRM that you want to port new leads over into AFrame, that is possible. Today I'm just going to cover the transaction side of the intake form feature. So let's get started. I'm actually looking at my integrations page with the Zapier where I can grab my API key. Today I'm not going to go into the how to set everything up, but I just want to show you how it works. But how do I get to this page? If you want to get to the Zapier API area, you're going to click on your name, my profile, and then over on the left there's integrations, and then we're in the other section here. And this is where you can grab your API key if and when you need it. Now I'm going to click on the step-by-step instructions real quick because I want you to see what this is and where you can gather information to set this up for yourself. This is a self-help page. It'll essentially walk you through how to set up Zapier for a transaction intake form. This specific one talks about Cognito Forms, but the procedure is just the same for Jotforms or other applications you may use. One item of note is we have created templates already for Cognito and Jotforms that you can use. So if you simply click on this, it will take you to the Cognito form that actually I'm about to open now. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, just as a reminder, the way Zapier workflow happens is you fill out a form. That form data goes to Zapier. Zapier maps all that data and throws it into AFrame. So let's look at what we can collect. This is an intake form that first asks for the agent name. Now, the nice thing about how this is set up with AFrame is if this name matches a team member in your account, let's say a managed agent or even a standard user, if the name and or the email matches up with somebody in your account, it will automatically select this person as the primary agent for the transaction. Additionally, we need an address here. So I'll just enter in a quick address, and this is actually the only field that is required, by the way, to have this work properly. The name could be blank for the agent, the transaction side. All of this other data is actually not necessary, so you can create a very simplistic form. The address is the only thing that will be needed, and then all the other defaults will just be set. So you can change the data once it comes into AFrame. We're going to pick a side here. Let's just go ahead and assume this is dual because I want to show you all the different fields that are available. Next is who is your TC? Now, you don't have to ask this question. If you're a single person shop and you don't have multiple team members, then you don't have to do this. You can set up Zapier to automatically select yourself as the TC every time or even the primary agent, what have you. I'm going to go ahead and select this TC so it selects them as a TC in the result so I can show you. And then last but not least, let's kind of fill in a couple of other forms here. So let's just do a buyer. And then obviously you can fill in phone numbers and emails for buyer 1 and 2, and then also for seller 1 and 2. Next, we have some other transaction details. Again, if this was just a buy side, you'd probably hide these top fields. Let's just go ahead and fill in the contract price, contract agreement date. So this will be the contract start date, closing date. Now, I'll also point out you can map custom fields. So you're not limited to just the standard fields above. If you have any custom fields that you've set up in your account with AFrame, you can include those in a form and then you can map those with Zapier. So I'll just put a little bit of data here. This next field is actually going to add a note or activity. So a line item under the notes activities tab in a transaction. So if you need some special instructions or where would they like to close or some just general other things that the agent wants to enter, this is where you would enter that. And then last but not least, you of course have the ability to upload files, and you can upload multiple files at once if you need to. So let's click submit, and this is essentially going to push this over to Zapier. Zapier is going to crunch all the data and then eventually it's going to end up on my dashboard. So let's take a look at that now to see if it's, yep, it's already here. Okay, so we've got 3501 Beverly. It's a dual-sided transaction. We have John Barksdale as the buyer, and it comes in as a draft. Now, this is a new status that we have added to everyone's account. Any intake form will automatically have the status of draft, which allows you to click into this and sort of clean up the data. Now, let's take a look at some of the data that's come in. You'll see the custom fields, MLS ID and the lockbox ID, have come in with that data there. The attachments are here that have been uploaded, so we can go ahead and use a template and then assign those over to our different file buckets or placeholders. The dates. So we have now obviously entered the effective date or contract start date and the closing date. Those have come in just fine. And then our participants. Now you see here that the primary agent was automatically assigned because there was a match by name in the in our team member area. And then also Betsy was matched as well. And then we have the buyer down here. Now, if we had added buyer 2 and seller 1 and 2, they would have been here as well. You'll note that this actually just stores the contact in the transaction. You see it by a gray sort of demarcation there. If you want to add this contact to your database, you can always just edit it and click save. But if you want to continue to just have that contact information in the transaction so it doesn't clutter up your CRM in AFrame, then you can continue to save only in the transaction itself. Scanning over a little bit, we've got our notes and activities. So here was the note that was added there. And then I'll also point out tasks. Now, this is not part of the form, but it's something you can set up in Zapier itself. When a form comes into Zapier, you actually have the option to specify any tasks that you want to auto apply. So for example, I told this particular intake form Zapier set up to go ahead and apply our buyer under contract task template. So that's kind of a nice feature that you can automatically apply templates. Like for example, maybe you have an intake form task plan or template that you want to apply for every new transaction that comes in. You can do that and set that up in Zapier. Okay, that's all I have for the demo today. I wanted this to be short and sweet, but again, we'd love for you to play around with it, give us feedback, and as always, if you have questions, let us know at support@aframesoftware.com. Thanks.